ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Caged Match, and we are going to talk about Hell in a Cell. I've been waiting to talk about this one, man, ever since last night. We had a really good week last week for wrestling, and then we get this. So clearly WWE was just focused on Fox and all the season premieres and competing with AEW because they completely forgot about this pay-per-view apparently. You could tell everything was thrown together last minute. None of the matches made sense. Not very many of them were good. And the booking was horrible. Like literally the worst booking from WWE in a long, long time. And that says a lot. So the pre-show was barely ever there. You had backstage interviews. I got my notes right here, so I'm going to look at them. You got Alexa Bliss interview with Nikki Cross, Charlotte Flair, Ali with Randy Orton, who kind of comes up and, says he stopped Ali's momentum, and so that turns into a match. And Rowan. And so the only match on the pre-show was literally the one thing I could care less than half a shit about, and that was Lacey Evans versus Natalya. If you've watched my reviews at all, you know that Lacey Evans, in my opinion, is one of the most talentless people that has ever walked through the doors. Just not a fan. She is awkward. She's stiff. She botches just about everything. And it's not a personal attack. Like I said, she could be the sweetest person in the world, but when it comes to her skill, not there. Sorry. This was very predictable too. They've done this several times lately with Natalya and Lacey Evans, where it's just going back and forth. Lacey Evans won last time. Natalya wins this time. Hits her after the match. Natalya hits Lacey Evans after she beat her. I don't care. It's over with for me. So the whole pre-show was just a complete joke, a complete waste of time. Now we get to the main pay-per-view. And right away, I might be divisive because the match itself between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, that's what they kick it off with, that Hell in a Cell match, it was easily the best match of the night. Easily, like by a mile, the best match of the night. These two ladies not only stole the show after you've seen the whole show, but they had some really cool, innovative spots. You could tell they put some time, effort, and thought into what they were doing. And it worked. It looked good. But the problem was that you bring Sasha Banks back after being gone for so long. You've made her look weak this entire time. She's lost so many matches already in very, very, very weak fashion. This was the moment you had to have Sasha Banks look strong to be credible. And you took all that credibility away. Because not only did she lose, not win the belt, but she tapped out and just looked weak as fuck. So all that build-up, all the hype that you had for whatever time bringing her back is gone now. Now it's just Sasha Banks falling victim to Becky Lynch again. As much as I love both women, and I do love Becky Lynch, I think she's amazing. I think Sasha Banks is one of the most underused at the time that she left people in the company. Like, Sasha Banks is easily one of the most talented women in the women's division. Easily. And they did nothing with her. And I could see why she was pissed. I could see why she wanted to leave. And now she's sticking around for the money. And she's basically selling, her soul for a paycheck. Okay, fine, I get that. You're getting a lot of money out of it. But at the end of the day, WWE is still screwing her over. And it was garbage. I'm sorry, the ending was garbage to me. I didn't like the ending of that match. If you're going to have somebody come in like this, have somebody as a credible heel. You need that in the women's division, and she could have been the one. But instead, they went with what they went with, and I didn't like it. So let's move on. After that, you get Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. And it's kind of much the same. The match itself wasn't bad. I don't know that it was great, but it wasn't bad. They had some really good spots to it. It definitely kept me entertained throughout it. But the problem was that they did the exact same thing they did in the first match. Now you've got Rowan and Harper, these two absolute animals. This is literally their very first match after Rowan has gone solo. You could have made these guys look absolutely destructive, look like absolute beasts. And what did you get? Rowan taps out. So it's just stupid booking decisions. After that, you get Seth Rollins in an interview. Charlie's talking to him, and he's saying that, no matter what happens when the cell locks, he's going to have to fight Bray Wyatt, And he's like, I'm still going to remain champion. He says, I hope. So again, you have a guy who's beaten Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman and all these guys, and he's just playing bitch, and I don't like it. After that, you get Randy Orton versus Ali. You could tell this was just thrown together. I like both guys. It was a decent match for what it was, and there was actually a couple of really cool spots in it. The one most notable spot was one point toward the very end of the match, Randy Orton goes for an RKO, and Ali just kind of does a handstand to keep from hitting the mat. It was really actually a very cool spot. Caught people off guard, but then he dumps through the ropes and does his thing where he's going to try to do a face plant, and Randy Orton catches him with an RKO right after that anyway. So that was decent. Nothing special about it though, to be very honest. Although I will say Ali did take a couple of hellacious hits, man. He had a nasty bruise all the way up his midsection. It was pretty bad. So after that, you get Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Asuka and Kairi Sane. This was amazingly stupid as well. No build-up, no nothing. We didn't even know this was going to be a match. It looks like suddenly Asuka and Kairi Sane are now heels in the match. And at the end of the day, Asuka and Kairi win the women's championship belts, which really shows how much these women's championship belts, that tag championship belts mean. The tag championship for the women's division has been a joke. It's really been bad. I mean, the Iconics, I think, were the longest reigning women's tag championships. And they're horrible. They're just fucking horrible. So this was just bad all the way around. So far, nothing in this pay-per-view has really caught my eye. Everything just, like I said, it felt thrown together. It felt very discombobulated. The matches were okay. The first match, the only really good match, the ending sucked, in my opinion, sorry. So far, we're just not doing very good. Let's get into it deeper. Then you have the OC versus the Viking Raiders, and they're supposed to bring out somebody big. Braun Strowman. I don't know, dude. This match, it didn't feel organized at all. You had your usual spots. And then the ending was a fucking DQ because the OC wouldn't stop beating down Braun Strowman in the ring. So Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman win via DQ. And then there's the after-match brawl, which Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman come out on top. And literally the highlight of this match, and I use highlight very, very loosely, was AJ Styles going for the phenomenal forearm. Braun Strowman punches him, knocks him out. And that's supposed to be something for Tyson Fury, obviously. But after that, AJ comes to, and he's supposed to be acting like somebody would when they just came out of getting knocked out, kind of drunkish. And so it was kind of funny, but that was the highlight. That was the best part of the whole scenario. Is AJ, acting like he's coming to after getting knocked out. That was it. After that, you've got a Street Profits promo. Tamina shows up with the 24/7 belt. Carmella super kicks her. R-Truth gets the pin, wins the belt back. That was the whole segment. So then you get King Corbin who cuts another terrible promo. He's in a match against Chad Gable. The whole short guy thing is just already done. It just started and it's over with for me. It wasn't a good match. Baron Corbin's not a good performer. I liken Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin just about the same way. So it was just bad. Like everything about this was bad. The promo was bad. The match wasn't good. It was predictable. Chad Gable gets the win, and then the announcer calls him Shorty Gable after the match. I guess that was supposed to be funny. In my opinion, it was stupid. So, literally, we're just going from bad to worse. After that match, you get Charlotte versus Bayley. Look, man, I like Charlotte Flair. I think she's amazing as far as women in the division. She's one of the most athletic. She's one of the strongest. She's built lean. She's nothing but muscle. And it's muscle that can move, man. She's got some incredible stuff going on there with her moveset. She's highly talented in the ring. So it's not like I'm trying to say anything negative about Charlotte Flair, but she is the untouchable in the women's division. I've been saying for the last few weeks how it's like they are just not going to book her weak against anybody. They're not going to book anybody else stronger than she is. If you were in a match with Charlotte Flair, you might as well get ready to lose. And that's just the way it is. Like, Charlotte Flair is the untouchable. And so that made this match predictable. It made the match just kind of like, all right, we know what's going to happen. We know what's here. Let's see if they can pull off some cool stuff. The match was all right itself. Both Bayley and Charlotte have had better matches. So I really didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that this is just how they've got Charlotte Flair in the company now. Because eventually what's going to happen is everybody else is going to catch on to that. And it's going to turn into a Roman Reigns situation where they're like, you know what? We're sick of this. Like, I'm already sick of it. Honestly, I am. Have some fair booking. I don't care who she is. I don't care who her daddy is. I don't care. This is like, when you do this too much, it hurts the character. And you mock my words, it's going to start happening. People are going to catch on and they're going to be like, you know what? We're already over it. So Charlotte Flair is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. After that, Kayla interviews Chad Gable. Baron Corbin attacks him, and that's twice I've had to see Corbin on TV tonight. So that's as much as you get from that. And then you get Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt, the main event. What they did right with this was they kind of made it feel different with red lighting. You know, it was like Bray Wyatt taking over. What they did wrong with it was everything else. Like literally everything else. They had Bray Wyatt no-selling everything. He was getting hit with kendo stick shots, no selling. He got hit with curb stomps, no selling. Put through a table, no selling. I get that they were trying to make him look strong as hell, like he's superhuman. They went way too far with it, though. There's only so far you can go with no selling. And then comes the end of the match where Seth Rollins has actually got the upper hand on Bray Wyatt. Now, right away, people are already pissed about this, and they're booing way before the end ever came. As soon as Seth Rollins started steamrolling over Bray Wyatt, curb stomp after curb stomp after curb stomp, and I mean, he probably hit that thing like 15 times. Seriously. Hit the pedigree, hit him with chairs. There was a spot where Bray Wyatt was on the ground and he smashed the chair into the apron instead of his head. That was pretty obvious. And then there was a spot after that where he gets a ladder, a chair, sticks the chair in the ladder, puts the ladder over Bray Wyatt's head, hits it with a toolbox, sticks the toolbox in the ladder on top of Bray Wyatt, and then grabs a sledgehammer. The referee's telling him not to do it. Seth Rollins hits everything on top of Bray Wyatt's head with a sledgehammer, the referee disqualifies Seth Rollins. In a no disqualification match, Hell in a Cell is a no DQ match. That's the point of Hell in a Cell. And so the problem with this is if you're going to create rules and storyline and you do this, all suspension of disbelief is gone instantly. You can't even follow your own rules, so how the hell is anybody else supposed to know what's going on or believe this is legitimate competition? They're not. They can't. Because you're going against the own match rules. Like, you create shit and then you go against it, and now people are just left confused. If anybody's watching this for the first time and they're like, hey, this is a no disqualification match, guess what? They're just baffled. And so you're losing your fan base off of that. You're losing potential fan base. But you're also losing your legitimate fan base because it's just bad. It's bad storytelling. It's bad booking. You should have done something with The Fiend at this point. So that's 4 times tonight that they would not put somebody over. That's what makes this such a bad pay-per-view to me. Everybody else is talking about Hell in a Cell, the last match, Bray versus Seth Rollins. I'm talking about the whole fucking pay-per-view. I'm talking about not putting Sasha Banks over when you should have. I'm talking about Charlotte Flair being untouchable. I'm talking about not putting Bray Wyatt over when you should have. What are you people thinking? Like, I don't understand WWE. They're so concerned about creating moments that they've forgotten how to create a show. So, like, it was garbage, dude. It was garbage. I immediately canceled my network. I'm not watching Raw tonight. I'll watch it on YouTube the next day. They don't deserve the ratings after that. I'm sorry. That's how I feel, and that's how I'm always going to feel. Once the product gets this bad, I tune out. I'll watch it on YouTube the next day, and then I'll do the review, the next day after I watch it. Because at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, I don't care what they do tonight, because it's Monday now. I don't care what they do tonight to fix this. They've already ruined it. They've ruined 3 storylines, and everything else in the pay-per-view was crap. And that's not trying to shit on the other performers, but creatively it was garbage, and like nothing felt important. Nothing. And for me, everything is supposed to lead to a pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view is supposed to answer storylines and end storylines, and then you create new ones after that. So to me, the pay-per-views are supposed to be important. They're supposed to feel important. And this felt not important at all. I could have given a shit less about most of this pay-per-view. And the 2 matches I did care about, they screwed up completely. Well, I won't say that. The first match was really, really good. I just didn't like the ending. And as a matter of fact, big props to Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, because they made a damn good match. The only saving grace about this pay-per-view was that match. And because of that, this gets a 1/2 out of 10. Because of the massive effort between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. None of this deserves anything. It was a pile of steaming garbage. This is a dumpster fire if ever I saw one. So ladies and gentlemen, they get a 1/2 out of 10. Not a 1.5, a 1/2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Cage Nation. I'm out.